Hey, welcome, Jeffrey Paul, with an inspiration. It's Sunday, and we're going to be doing an in-depth study. I'm going to take a few minutes and kind of review while we have many of our viewers that have made already comments through the night. Some of you read and view Facebook late at night. I'm in bed already, but I'm also up early at 4 o'clock in the morning, having a great time and being inspired, with my own personal walk with the Lord. So I just want to take a few minutes and kind of review this week and how we ramped up to this powerful teaching that I want to really bring to you, that I think it'll be a change of your life. I really believe, without exaggeration, that this teaching will be a stepping stone for your life and for the change of your life to live forward, Basically, I started this week with a series called Less But Better Best. And because I started with that, I talked about how many things pose an option for our life, an opportunity for our life, a decision for our life, and it becomes overwhelming. Have you been there? Have you been there where you've got so many decisions to make? Let's just say they're all good, but which one of them is best, and which ones are you able to say no to so that you can do less but better best? That was the beginning of the series this week, and if you go back to the YouTube channel that I set up for you, you can see and review that. But also, we went then to life plans. Do you have a life plan? I mean, here's the big question, because that's what this teaching is going to be all about, to help you with 3 major steps towards your life plan to live abundant life. That's exciting. It's exciting for me to hear that you're even here, that you'd want to be a part of learning how to take your life and live it forward. I want you to write that down. And if you've been listening, you also know that I shared, don't come to this class without a pencil and paper. So I'm going to give you a moment in case you forgot that part of it or didn't hear that. Go get a pencil and paper. I'll wait for you. This is where the TV program, they put it on hold and they wait for it, play a commercial, come back. I'll just talk for a few seconds, let you get there so you don't miss anything. But it's important because some of the points that I'm going to give you are very, very important. But I want your success. I want you to have victory in life. That's why I do what I do. That's why I every morning walk with you and inspire you. I pray for you. I believe for your life, even if I've never personally met you. So what I did is I completely typed up a series of notes for you that are in the content that you can download and copy and use. So everything I'm going to share with you is all done for you, but not for you not to do your part, okay? Just for review. So I have a complete outline, as it says, of building your life plan to live forward towards an abundant life. So good morning. Good morning. Give me some hearts and give me some thumbs. That means that you go down to the bottom of the screen, and where that little heart is and that thumb is, hit me a couple of times so I know that you're there. It's real important because it's what keeps me energized and me inspired. So give me some punches. And let's get really into the relationship of what's important right now. What's important right now is this teaching that will be expanding beyond our 10-minute session, but it'll also be there for you to go back to YouTube eventually once we upload it and post it, okay? But here's the title. The title is Building Your Life Plan to Live Forward Towards an Abundant Life. I want to set a compass setting because, if you're on a journey, as we are, if you're on a journey, you need a compass setting. Here's your compass setting. Write this down. This is what the series has been about all week long. You can go review all week's morning inspirational teachings because I build it like a staircase to today's teaching. Less, but better, best. We do too much. We try to fill our schedule with so much and then more. One of the real weaknesses, one of the very issues that I fight every day, every single day, and as I say to you, I always constantly work with the real life examples of my life and what I'm doing and going through. But too much, too many, too fast. Too much, too many, too fast. It just is ongoing every day, and I'm trying to put more into it. How about you? We all do, because of all the options we have. I have an Amish friend that is just a wonderful family. I've gone down to their home In their room, in their bedroom, there is two sets of clothing. One is their Sunday best, and one is their work clothing. That's it. Now, I'm not telling you to get that crazy, but they have a philosophy is what they don't have, what they don't need. Now, we don't have to go to that extreme, but what we do have to do is make the decision in life what you want. And then say no to everything else and stop letting people, situations, circumstances, and the things that have held you steadfast from getting what you want. That's what we're going towards. That's living forward. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? You ready? Okay. The first thing you must do, as I shared as a part of your homework assignment or pre-homework assignment, was to do a reality inventory. A reality inventory is this. Where are you at today? You got to ask your question this. How did I get here? How did I get here? Many of us are where we're at because of limiting beliefs. I can't. Somebody said you'll never be. I can't be this. I don't believe that can happen. All those limiting beliefs have created you where you're at today. Other things are that you've given over the controls of your life to other people, to work, to circumstances, to decisions, to interruptions, to make the decision of what you do today. So now the second question is, what are you doing? What do you do? I get up, I have coffee. I don't work out every day. I don't work out every week. I don't even work out. I grab a cookie or a donut and I'm off to work. And I get to work and sit in the same desk, turn on the same computer, and do the same thing. I hope that's not your life, but that's the life of about 90% of the world. Very few people are doing what they love, what gives them life and energy. Very few people. I've heard the statistics are as low as 3% of the people in the world, but those 3% are the healthiest. They're the most joyful. They make the biggest impact. That's going to be you, and that's going to be me in our life plan living forward if we follow these three major pillars that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So the first pillar is that you really need to do a reality inventory. So number one is, where are you at today? Do an honest examination. Are you happy where you're at? Are you at the work position you're at? The relationship where you're at? The physical? Because remember, we're a holistic being, and a life plan has to deal with your holistic being, not just a goal to get a house or a goal to get a car or a goal to make money or a goal. It's not about that. It's about the wholeness of you. Okay? So now go with me now. Where are you at? Take an inventory. What are you doing? What's your day look like? What's your week look like? What's consistently a month look like? Then why? Ooh, this is big. Why are you doing it? See, the bottom line is, if you can't answer with an absolute, compassionate, charismatic answer, I'm doing this because I want to be. I'll give you an example, a real example, instead of just throwing off something. In my physical training life plan for my health, the issue of exercise and the issue of eating nutritionally and getting rest, those three principles are there. My why is so that I have a stamina to be able to change people's lives. So I have the stamina to play with my grandchildren. I have the stamina to give wisdom and knowledge and walk with my sons and my daughter and work with them in a way that gives them the ability to know that I'm all in. I'm all in. But if I'm tired, if I'm weak, if I'm sick, ain't gonna happen. Correct? Okay, so the why is the most important after you've set the reasons of what you want. Okay, I'm gonna review it as we come back, okay? Second thing. This might be more challenging for you, but it's okay, because challenge is good. I gave you a scripture, James, that says, rejoice through the trials and tribulations and challenges in your life, because as you persevere, you will lack nothing, because you will mature, you will grow into, you will live forward into abundant life. Are you following me? Okay, so now the second thing is you have to assess your life. Assess your life. Assessing your life means this. you got to ask the question. Here's the first one, and this is all in your outline, but I'm not going to tell you that too often so you don't write it down. I want you to write it down. But in your outline it says, do you have a life plan? Do you have a plan for your life? Do you have a plan for your life? Now, some of you are nodding, but in writing? Oh, in writing? See, the book of Habakkuk, a great Jewish writer, said, unless you write it down, it will not herald and cheer you on during the times that are difficult and challenging. Wow. I've also put a lot of the references that I'm going to quote to you, books that I think I'd recommend for you, as well as the scriptures that I'm going to be using, so that you again have these bases. This is not just to give you an inspiration for a moment. This is a life-changing lesson if you put it into practice, if you take it serious and commit to it. So please understand, that's why we're here today. We're here to change lives, not just to have another kumbaya moment, okay? So assess your life. Do you have a plan for your life in writing? Is it been written down? Number 2, does your plan address all of you? Remember I said all of you? All the roles of your life, all the parts of your life, all the elements of your life. Are you a father? Are you a mother? Are you a wife? Or are you a student? Are you a pastor? Are you a CEO? What are you? But you're also a human being. You're also someone who is living life that is the spiritual realm. Don't make a life plan like so many people do that set goals just to accomplish a goal. I want you, as I said in this week's pre-teachings, I want you to live success to success through challenges, through failures, but success to success, that's abundant life. Abundant life, John 10:10 says that God came. The whole game plan was that God came to give you and I the ability to live and the power to live. Out of 2 Timothy chapter 1, to live a full, abundant life. And when you look up abundant life, the Greek word that was used in that particular scripture, it is like zoe. It is a life not only for the living today in this current world, no matter what its circumstances and date is, and eternal life, life after death. So it's abundance. It's abundance. It's living in peace, joy, happiness, love, compassion, kindness, gentleness, all the things that make up an abundant life. So if you're just setting a goal to accomplish a financial thing or a career thing or even to get married, whoa, it's a dead-end road. It's a failure. It's the bridge is out. Are you following me? You need to be sure that you know who you are as the whole. You need to have that physical ability to be healthy. You need that spiritual inspiration to give you the power. Why? Because as we go down to the third pillar, the reality is that you got to go to Mark 10:27 that I shared this week about. Unless you put this together with God, unless you activate the things that are impossible by you, but possible with His partnership in this relationship, His empowerment, His insights, His voice speaking and guiding you, is not going to happen. You'll just be taking another goal-setting course someday in the future. And so understand, I would span my library here for you right now, but I don't want to bump the camera too much around. But the reality is that I have hundreds and hundreds of books that I've studied, from spiritual to biblical to goal-setting to Steve Covey's Habits, to all of those books, read, studied, marked up. And you know what? It comes down to these 3 steps again. The first one I gave you, reality inventory. Number 2, assess your life. Remember what I said, assess your life meant, do you have a plan for your life in writing? Number 2, does your plan address all of you? That's what we just talked about. And number 3, do you consistently review your plan? Oops. It's like a mission statement. How many people write a mission statement? They hang it on the wall or put it into a folder and never go back and let it do what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to set the compass, the guide, the true north for your life. And if you're not consistently on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis reviewing your life plan, tweaking it as life changes, yes, you can change a life plan. In fact, you need to. The season I'm in today is different than the season I was in 5 or 20 years ago. How about you? And sometimes your life can change in a couple of months. I have a brother-in-law right now that ended up in the hospital. We were at the hospital yesterday with a rare, unusual virus that has attacked his body, that caused his limbs and his ability to go numb, and he can't even stand right now, can't even breathe in process of swallowing. 148-hour period changed his life. So the truth of it is, you've got to keep your life plan in front of you. Proverbs chapter 4 says, keep it right in front of your eye. Keep it in front of your eye. Keep it announcing, keeping it, as Habakkuk said, keep it cheering you on or correcting you or adjusting you. Are you following me? Is this making sense to you? Let me know if it's making sense to you. Please give me some likes out there. Let me know that you're getting what I'm saying, because it's so important, if you're going to build a life plan, that these components are understood by you. Then number 3, pillar, okay? You need to reset your life and start living forward towards an abundant life. Reset, reset. I talked to you again about that this week. Reset means that each and every one of us make mistakes. Each and every one of us make mistakes. Please don't live in the new philosophy of never telling someone they made a mistake, or a kid that, you can't tell a kid that they failed. You know what? That's an injustice. There is no problem identifying our faults, our failures, our stumbling blocks. But our next step is to get up. Our next step is to be encouraged. No guilt, no condemnation. That's what it says in Romans 8:1. No guilt, no condemnation. Even when I do the things that I don't want to do, when I know that I shouldn't do them, it says in Romans 7. But the reality is that if you don't identify them, you don't learn from them. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. I heard, somebody sent me a wonderful, one of you that are out there listening, sent me a great video from Oprah Winfrey. And man, I was amazed what she was talking about mistakes are not a lack of part of good success. Anybody who's had success can tell you, I got more mistakes on the mistake side than I have on the success side. It's just that I learned so much from the mistakes that my successes are greater. How does that sound? Isn't that better than just hiding behind, I never make mistakes, I never make mistakes, I never make mistakes? Well, then what happens? You continue to make the same old thing. And when you continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's insanity. Einstein, I believe, was the quoter of that statement. Continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Instead of identify the mistake, bang, let's learn from this. Let's not pound ourselves, let's not beat ourselves, let's learn from this. So we need to reset our life. So here's the steps in resetting your life to start living forward towards an abundant life. Identify who you are today. We just talked about that. Who you are. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a CEO, I'm a inspirational, whatever it might be. Identify that. But who do you want to be? Who is it that you'd like to be? Nah, don't pick a movie star, and don't pick an author, and don't pick somebody famous like an athlete. No. Who do you want to be? Who would you describe in detail who you want to be? Can I tell you a story? I'm gonna sidebar this because it's really important. I just shared this with somebody that helped their life when I was in Italy. When I was single and wild, and before I had this kind of inspiration, I said I'd never be married because I just was flying high as a playboy. And so in my life, I wrote down in one of the classes that I took, because I was always learning and I was always seeking and I was always, intense on being better and in self-help. I learned about writing out a thigma for the woman that I would marry if she fit the thigma. The thigma means the pattern, the silhouette. So on a card, I wrote not only the shape that she was, the color of her hair, I put the origin of her birth. I put all of this stuff that I knew would be impossible for anybody to match up. And you got to understand something. As a hairdresser, I was dating runway models. I was, cover girls. It was a life of, to most people's, ecstasy. One day, I walked in to a club, and this young lady was dancing, and that young lady, because I knew what was on my card, filled the entire thigma. It blew me away. Well, I'll tell you, less than 6 months to 9 months later, I was married to that beautiful woman. Why? Because I had placed down on paper what I wanted, what I truly wanted, even though I thought it was impossible. And there she was, Zena. Had I not, she would have just been another pretty face. I would have danced all night with her, maybe dated for a while, and moved on in life. But the truth of it is, if you know what you want, if you know who you want to be, then it's so important to write it down so it reminds you when you begin to forget. So important, so important for you. So you got to identify who you are today and who you want to be so that you can start to work forward, live forward towards that and build the process of that in your life plan. Are you following me? Are you following me on this? It's so important that I know that you're following me because I want to be sure that you are taking this down and going to walk through it. And I'm going to review it, so don't worry about that. I will review it. And I will review it all through this week, I'm sure, in our daily inspirations. But identify who you are today with no guilt, no condemnation, no matter how you got there. Now remember, I've shared this story with you before. You know how they train an elephant, don't you? They take a little tiny brand new birth cub elephant and they chain it down with a heavy chain deep into the ground. And this elephant, who knows it's supposed to be mighty and strong and be able to move in freedom, fights and it tugs and it pulls at this thing almost 24 hours. It's refusing to be held back. But then, after a while, comes a defining moment. That defining moment, it accepts the limitations that chain has created for it. Now that elephant grows to 5,000-6,000 pounds, able to move a mountain, and is still held by that same chain, by that same stake into the ground, which it could easily lift right out. Until you break the chains of your past and recognize who you really were meant to be, you will live in the same place that you are, just a year older, and that's very sobering, just 10 years older, just 30 years older. And then one of the exercises that comes out of a book that I'm going to, in my recommendations in my outline that I gave you, which was Living Forward by Steve Covey and his partner Daniel Hackavy. Pretty amazing book about life plans, very valuable for you to learn about, but is very important because they start the whole book with, let's go to our funeral. It's kind of sobering. Let's go to our funeral and let's have us listen to the people that talk about our lives. But we want to script it. We want to script it, and each and every one of those people will walk up from a different part of our life, maybe our children, our wife, our best friend, our workers, and they will recite who we are to them, who we were. And you script that out. That becomes kind of the goal to get to. I want to be this person. I want my sons to walk up and say, my dad was the most loving, compassionate, happy guy, gave me wisdom, gave me inspiration, continue to give me that hope when I didn't have hope. My wife, I want to say that I was the most best friend that she ever had, the lover that fulfilled her desires. My physical abilities that were able to be stamina and fulfilled, and my inspirational part of people like you. As you write that, and you might want to try that exercise, as you write what you want people to say about you after you're gone from each area of your life, now you back up to today, whatever today is in comparison of the margin that you have between that day, could be tomorrow, but it could be 20 or 30 years from now. Now we begin to live forward to that which you want to be, that which you want. Now, pick one thing. This is really important. In each area of those areas of your life, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, that's you in the human and spiritual form. Then your roles in life, husband, wife, worker, CEO, student, whatever it might be, in each one of those written down, pick one thing that you want it to be. One thing you want with all your heart and all your might, you want to live forward towards. Now, can you do it in a day? Can you do it in a week? Will you even do some of them in a year or 5? But if you're living every day, little by little, success by success, little by little, closer and closer, living forward, that's what that means. Every day is a delight. Every day is a joy. Every day is a success. Every day is an explosion of being. That's living abundant life. So in that, start living forward. You need to identify who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow. Pick one thing you truly want in each area that you desire with all your heart and write them down. Then commit. Number 3, commit to that life plan and those things you've written down. Well, what does that mean, Jeff? Well, one of the things we talked about this week was commitment. See, once you decide, I want to be healthy, and I'll use that because it's kind of the defining level of all of us. I want to be healthy. Okay. I've decided. But now the most important part of deciding is doing what? You remember earlier? Why do you want to be healthy? I want to live a long life. I want to live without disease and sickness. I want to have stamina to play and enjoy the people I love and care for and the calling in my life. If it's only those 3, those are pretty powerful, but they're probably maybe 3 to 4 to 5. That's all you need. 3 to 5 is wise, is significant because they become the cheerleaders. You know how cheerleaders are on the sideline when the football team looks like they're losing, they're behind 7 points, and the cheerleaders are cheering them. They're chanting with the crowd. And if you're an athlete, you know that stimulates you. You need that stimulation. All of us do. You don't work on autopilot. Every day your metabolism is different. The weather is different. Your circumstances and situation are different. So if you don't have a constant in your life, something constantly reminding you of the value of why you're going to eat right, put that donut away. You're gonna sleep right. Get to bed before 11 o'clock. You're going to read an inspirational message. You're gonna do journaling. You're gonna watch every ball on inspiration every morning. Whatever it is, if you don't know why, you'll only do it for a little bit. You'll be like the statistics of all the health and gyms all over the country. All of them have the same statistic. People pay a lot of money. They go for approximately 8 times, the majority, 8 to 12 times, and don't ever show up again. They pay a lifetime membership, but they don't go again. And boy, then there's the people who've gone on diets, and everybody has had that opportunity. Go on a diet, and they don't see the difference. They don't see the difference. They don't see the difference, or they do get to the weight on the scale that they like, but they didn't have a why. The why wasn't to lose the weight. The why wasn't to just fit in a size 5 or 3 or whatever it is. The why is that I like what I see in the mirror. I feel better about myself. I have more energy. Isn't that a whole lot more valuable? Okay, rolling that forward, let me review those 3 pillars, all right? First things, reality inventory. Get real. Get real. Number 2, assess your life today. Do you have a plan? You don't have a plan? Well, then let's get going. Number 3, begin to start living forward by resetting this whole thing, by doing what I've shared with you and I've put in the outline of this particular teaching so that you have the absolute abilities to be impactful in your life living forward. Now, the biblical principle is so important right now. I've put those there. The biblical principles, John 10:10, I've come to give you life abundant. But the robber has also only come to rob it, steal it, and destroy. Those thoughts of, I don't want to run today. I don't want to walk today. I want that donut. I want that donut. I don't want to be kind. I don't want to turn the other cheek. I'm not going to forgive you. I'm angry. Boo! Bring that back down. That enemy is your and my enemy. And we have to silence that enemy and understand God has come to give you life abundant. Number 2 scripture is Jeremiah 29:11 through 14. Oh, I have a plan for you. Now see, I told you and we've been working on this life plan. I told you, though, now the truth. God's got a plan for you. He planned it before you were even in the womb. And while you were in the womb, when he wove your body, as it says in Jeremiah 1, as in Psalms 139, he wove you, planned you, prepared you, a plan not to harm you, but to bless you, to give you long life, to give you abundance. Whoa! You got him on your side. You are a winner. You already started winning. You're already a winner when you consciously come into that awareness. That's really where it changes things. Mark 10:27. What's impossible by you is possible with him. John 14:20. I am in him, he is in me, we are in God, we are one. Nothing can beat you. Nothing can beat you. Romans 8 talks about the whole thing. Nothing can beat you if you're with him and he's with you and you are walking together. He's your coach. He's your inspiration. He's your power. Are you following me? Habakkuk 2, verse 2 through 4 said, was write it down so that it heralds, it reminds you, it encourages you. And I've written a couple other scriptures that are important. Now, some of the books that I talked to you about, and I wrote those down too. I said Living Forward, really an important book. Michael Hyatt, one of my mentors. The One Thing, really powerful, by Gary Keller. Powerful awareness of this. Let's take one thing in each area of our life and really play it forward. But the one that you can't miss is Greg McCruen's Essentialism. It really, I'm not going to be so dramatic to say it changed my life, but it redefined my life about really focusing on less, better, best. Less amount of things, less activities, less projects, but they're the better that I could ever imagine, into working them into the best for your life. Not just for work, for your life. And then, kind of now it's an old book, is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Steve Covey. Powerful, powerful books that emphasize these 3 pillars that I've given you. They're all encompassed. Probably the best one, though, is the Bible. And I always use the NIV, International Version, and the Message Bible translation. Those 2 versions are really good because one's real contemporary, but very true to the original word, and the other one gives me the basis of the fine line that I've given you over and over again as a scripture. They're powerful. These are the principles. Ecclesiastics, the wisest man, King Solomon, who learned from his mistakes about life. Proverbs that has outpoured what David has learned through the process of life. Jesus' Sermon on the Mount that outpours all the principles of living life on a strong foundation, pouring new wine into new wineskins so that it doesn't burst. All the things are there. We miss them. Why? Because we're drifting. Yeah, we're not living forward. We're just drifting. The same old thing. Well, I've given you the blueprint to change your life and to begin to live forward. One more time, building your life plan, living forward towards abundant life, compass setting is less but better, best. First thing you need to do is a reality inventory. Go back to my notes and find out more of the details of that. Then assess your life. You be the assessor with no guilt, no condemnation. Man, get rid of that stuff because that doesn't hold you back anymore. That's the elephant chain. Get out of it. You're forward. You're living forward. And then reset, start living forward with success and blessings in your life. I need to hear from you now. I need to hear from you. Not only a lot of those smiley faces and those hearts, I want those. I want to hear the comments. First of all, I commit to a life plan. I commit to the change. And then I'll be able to coach you on a daily basis as we go into our inspirations on a daily basis. Plus, my 21-day makeover plan, if you want to go take a look at it, I put the link there that you can take a look that I can also coach you online as well. It's all about really making a difference and putting it into practice. It's not about sitting for 20, 30 minutes. I don't even know how long we've been going now, but it's not about that. It's about putting it into practice. Philippians chapter 4, verse 9. Now, what you've seen, what you've heard, put it into practice. if you'll do just these three things with all your heart, with all your intent, you dedicate some time, even if it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes every day for this, boy, you got that time. You really do. That's not even 10% of a day, 20 minutes. That's less than 1% of the time of a day that if you capture and put it into your life plan, put it in a review of your life plan, put it in the development of your life plan, do it to the correction of your life plan or the reminder, you're going to be living an abundant life. So give me your comments. Give me your comments. Let me know where you're at constantly, because other people read those comments too. Please share this. You know, I ask you that all the time, and this is really why I put the effort and the energy and I know God's put the inspiration in me, is to pour it out, pour it forward, live it forward. Don't just share it one time. Share it throughout the day so it keeps popping up on that Facebook, so that it continues to remind your friends, your relatives. Send it to somebody. Send it if you need to. But whatever, get this message into your heart and move it forward into your life. That's why I always say to you, remember, beauty and change begins within, and it begins right now by resetting, committing to this, taking the stress out of your life, and begin to enjoy life, abundant life, the way God made it, planned it, prepared it, and fulfills it as you commit to it. I'm Jeffrey Paul. I want you to have a beautiful, living forward day. And please, please commit to this, because it's about your life. It's about your life. So you're now the elephant who is free to soar on wings of eagles. Have a beautiful day.